we're going to get going, everybody. If you could please stand for the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The first item we have to take care of this evening is a motion to elect Amy, and I'm not even going to attempt her last name, but we've got it in the motion, as our board secretary. Someone move it, please. Thank you. All over the place. Pick one. A second. And they're all over the place, so we've got that covered. Any comments, questions?
Pasa contento.
Very good.
Pretty good?
Yes.
I'm on?
Pasa
All right.
contando.
All
Yep.
right, Rocco. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Thank you. Now the roll call, please, Amy.
Okay. Mr. Arcuri.
Here.
Mr. Bova. Here. Mr. Brodsky. Mr. Kaur.
Yes.
Mr. Coyne.
Here.
Mr. Delia.
Here.
Mr. Ford.
Here.
Mr. Lewis.
Here.
Mr. Karam.
Here.
Mr. Mutolo. Mr. Sampson.
Here.
And Ms. Cesny. Here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
You have the June 21, 2021 draft minutes in your packet. Is there a motion to approve?
Move them.
Thank you. A second. Any comments, corrections, additions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Thank you. The first item on our agenda is a resolution regarding award of a construction contract, which is in your packet. Eric?
Yes, for Loop Road generator replacement. This is a generator that was actually original to that pump station building. With some of our, especially with some of our SCADA upgrades that we're doing at that facility, this project lines up quite nicely. Relocating deficient generator outside of the building on a pad just exterior to the walls, and where the current generator is, that'll be replaced by SCADA panels for our system monitoring. We had 4 bids that came in ranging from $90,000 to $135,000. We had a consultant estimate of $109,000, so we actually came in slightly below budget. Low bidder was Oneida Electric Contractors Incorporated. They are a contractor we've worked with many times in the past, and the schedule is to have them completed by late fall.
Capital Projects reviewed this and recommends approval by the board. Thanks, Dave. A second. Thanks, Rich. Any comments, concerns, questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Thank you. The next item is a resolution award of professional engineering services.
Yep. This is at our Deerfield tank site. We have some slope stabilization issues and some drainage related problems that we need to address. Unfortunately, it's beyond the scope of what we can really facilitate in-house with our equipment. So we went out to bid to get construction documents done. We had 3 proposals come back. Cost was negligible difference between them. We had a scoring matrix that took a bunch of criteria such as responsiveness, scope, fee, etc. into account, and it ended up scoring that Ramble, formerly O'Brien and Gear, came out on top in the scoring matrix. I guess the nice thing is they were the ones that have been involved in that site for some time, so there's a lot of familiarity there, and we'll get an appropriate remedy for that situation, and we will move forward to construction.
Capital Projects also reviewed this and recommends approval to the board. Yes, Vince?
I wonder, these people were previously employed. Do they hold any responsibility for what's happened up there?
No, not at this point. These are, how do I want to put this? I guess take a look at some of the monsoon rains we've had some of the last several years, and the sheer surface area on that tank, it's just eroded away so much of that slope, and it's starting to slough off down into Real Creek. It's really more of a function of the soil just becoming way too saturated. So we have to have, pretty intense soil stabilization that's going to happen.
How long has it been there?
12 years. 12 years. So
They hit the ground below, right? That
yeah, the tank's not tipping over or anything like that. It's obviously to prevent slope failure, because you don't want that footer exposed and any undermining to occur. I mean, there was already, I think it was back in 2019, there was a capital project that was established for this, to kind of evaluate. Okay, well, it's starting to become a little bit of an issue. Let's see how it trends over the next couple of years, and especially this spring, we had some pretty good rain events, and we really want to fast track this. We've had two different entities kind of take a look at this from a preliminary standpoint before we got to this point, and one of the reasons was something that you're coming from with that consultant that previously worked on it. Are they liable or are they at fault? We had another consultant take a look and evaluate from a design standpoint of the original tank site, and look at the geotech component as well, and really determine that, okay, yeah, not a design issue. It's really a function of soils in that slope becoming unstable. Big
Well,
time.
I understand. I mean, many times things are designed for, say, the 100-year episode.
Yeah.
I don't know how they.
Well, not take too much time, but the problem is with these rain events we're seeing, it's more of an intensity issue. Whereas when things were even designed up like 12 years ago, you're looking at a 100-year storm, more of a volume.
I know we got to get it fixed. I just
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that when they do it this time, they do it the right way.
Well, and I think I'm not obviously speaking for that firm, but in my opinion, if it was me, I'd like to save face, and I would want to make sure a site that my name's involved with, that nothing major happens to that tank or that site. So I think they're staying behind their name, and they'll give us a good product on this.
do any of our other sites have the same issue?
Nothing like this, no, nothing like this.
Anything else, Vince?
No, thank you.
Anything else from anybody else? Someone care to move the resolution as presented? Thanks, Dave. Second. Any further comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Thank you. And the committee reports, Jim, we have the second quarter investment statement.
Yes. In your binders, I believe you have a 3-page statement of all the investments that we are currently in. This is a June 30th statement. And just as a reminder, Public Authorities Law requires that we provide you with a periodic statement showing the balances of our investments, any earnings, and any fees that are associated with those investments. I want to point out that what we budgeted this past year and what is actually happening right now is we budgeted for a lot of these investments to have earnings in the 1% to 2% range, because we thought the market was going to rebound. The market for our type of investments, treasuries, CDs, have basically bottomed out. And so we are, I think the statement here says about 60,000, I think is the total, 60,000. We should be probably at 150,000. It's just that, again, primarily the 2020 A and B bonds, we have all that construction money. We've invested it. Some of it are just in money markets right now, but we were expecting between 1% and 2%. We're only getting 0.05, 0.1%. And so something to, as we go forward here, hopefully the market
And banks.
will rebound.
I said those damn banks, right?
Yeah. So the investments are not doing very well, not what we anticipated.
Well, just to give you an idea, today, I mean, the 10-year treasury is at 1.15. I mean, it's dropped in the past month or so, 60 basis points. I mean, it's just not, you know, getting any better. I mean, they keep coming down. I mean, you got, you know, the market's flooded with cash right now. There's a lot of liquidity out there. And, you know, like you said, you know, banks are paying 1 basis point on money. Some are even saying, we won't pay anything. You could put it in there, but we won't pay it because of the, you know, what they have to reserve and stuff. They're just, it's like 0 to maybe, you're lucky if you get 2 basis points.
We, for example, in 2019, we took out a CD for 3 years. I think it was 2.3%. Right now, we're getting it at 0.05. So, you know, we're waiting for the market to turn. We don't want to go into a long-term investment, say 2 or 3 years, knowing that maybe the market will turn.
Well, you know, I mean, you know, Chairman Powell has been saying, you know, they were talking about not raising rates out into 2023. Now he's backing off a little bit. It may be 2022, but, you know, who knows? I mean, as inflation's starting to, you know, pick up, you know, typically you see rates start to rise a little bit, but he's not moving yet. But his, you know, his forecast is, I don't know who you can believe. You know, I mean, you got economists out there too, and, you know, nobody's been able to pinpoint this. So I guess my only suggestion would be is whatever you do is don't lock it up for a long period of time. You know, you're probably better off staying as short as you can to get, you know, your best return.
I agree.
Who actually does our investments?
We have a firm, a gentleman out of Watertown through RBC, Royal Bank of Canada, that does these CDs and these treasuries.
Gives us the guidance on it. He gives us guidance on it. Or he actually, does he give us the guidance on it?
Yes, and he actually told us, don't invest right now. This goes back 2 or 3 months. He said, don't invest right now. Let's wait for the market to turn.
Anything else, Jim?
No.
Anybody have any other questions for Jim? We need a motion to approve this statement.
Yes.
I'll move it.
Rocco Rich, second. Any further questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Thank you. The finance report, Jim?
You have statement as of June 30th, so we're 6 months through the year, halfway through the year. We had a very good June as far as collections. It was the best collections we've had this year, so that's good. We now have a little surplus. We're going to need to build that surplus to pay larger bills in October, November, and December. So that's one good mark. Consumption is still down, even though we recovered. So we're down about 1.5%, maybe a little more than that compared to last year, 2020. But we're still down close to 4% from 2019. I like to compare to 2019 because 2020 was such an odd year. So we still have some recovery as far as consumption is concerned. We are moving in the right direction. But we just started in June. We started charging folks again for penalties and other fees that there was a moratorium on. So we started up with that again. So we're starting to get some of that back. But we will be, compared to previous 2 years, will be a lot less.
Are we getting any fallback from the state on charging these penalties now because of what's happened? Are they?
No, we had some discussions in our staff meetings about when to start this up. So we've gotten the green light to go ahead and do that. So we haven't had any pushback. There's customers that are probably not too happy.
Right. Well, for a period of time,
We didn't do it. No.
A year and a half.
Yeah. It goes back to the previous year.
we're not making it retroactive. We're just starting
Right.
going forward. So I mean, really, we did forfeit a lot of income.
We did. We absolutely did.
Any other questions for Jim?
Have we done any follow-up with the current accounts that are over 71 days old? Got a,
We are. Ann, you want to comment on anything that, just general question about what we're doing with some of the delinquent accounts? I mean, we're becoming more aggressive and
So we are still not doing shut-offs due to, due to delinquency, but, we have been, with certain accounts, we have been either contacting them. I know there is one large account that's been in the news lately, so we are going to actually be working with the city to try to come to some kind of, agreement with, if that's being shut down or whatever. And as far as non-compliance, we are shutting people off for non-compliance, and that's something that if people are not letting us in to change meters, or they have service line leaks that they're not fixing, because that is a greater risk to the water system if they don't get those fixed. So that's really the only reason we're doing any kind of shut-offs in the system at this point.
What's the procedure with something like you just mentioned, where somebody won't let you into their house to review the meter?
There's a series of letters that we send to the owner of the property, and we give them a certain amount of time frame in between.
What is the time frame?
I think that
33 days between three letters.
So in 33 days you can shut them off?
No, it's 33 days after the first letter, we send
Yeah.
a second letter, then we send a third letter. So it's about 104, 105 days in total until we post the property.
right.
And then it's 14 more days after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a legal thing, or is that something you've established?
Sending out the letters. Our rules and regs really say that we have access at any point to come in and change or maintain our meter, and we are allowed to shut them off immediately if they deny us that access. So we don't take that step. We're trying to be cognizant of people and their schedules and whatnot. So we exhaust any measures we can to.
Well, it's not like the people are unaware of the fact that it's your meter.
Yeah.
So I don't see why you can't just go in or shut them off. Does that sound cold-hearted?
Yeah, but that,
We'll have you lead the charge through the front door.
that's
That's
a small
Has it-
Compliant.
Right.
That's not the ones who aren't paying.
No, we're not.
Because non-payment's still under the 6-month moratorium.
Right, we're not shutting off people who don't pay.
Yeah, Ken, I guess you were going to look into that once. How that 6-month moratorium.
Right, and what happened is, it was right before, I think, last meeting, where they removed the emergency. And so the statute provided 6 months following removal, you still cannot shut someone off for past. And you have to offer a payment agreement plan for them to catch up. And all they have to do is say we couldn't pay the back amount because of COVID. So now going forward, though, they have to stay current, the way I read it, with both the payment plan and the present water bill, or they're subjected to potential termination. So that's how they did it.
Has there been any consideration possibly of saying, if, like they used to do with parking tickets, they'd have a little amnesty and say, if you pay by such and such a date, that we will waive the certain fees? And
Well, there are no fees. You're not permitted to take a penalty or interest on the old. on the new.
If you sign up for that COVID
Right.
deferment plan.
Right.
And if you go online to the website, there's all the forms that need to be completed. So we're tracking those. We're gonna be required by the state to give them a report of people who have signed up for that. And at this stage, I think we have 3 people who have signed up for it so far. So, you know, if you sign up for that, there are no penalties on the account. If you don't sign up for that, we are not actively shutting people off right now. You know, that's, you know, we've been talking a lot with Ken and what legally we're able to do, but also operationally. You know, we have not started our posting and shutting off program again. I suppose at this point we may be able to, as long as we do offer this COVID payment plan, which we do, but we have not taken that step because we've got until December when everything is back to normal and all of this will go away. So
Hopefully.
we hope. So.
Thank you.
The only other thing I wanted to mention is the budget season has begun. Packets went out to all the department heads July 19th. They're due back August 13th. And tentatively, we were looking at having a budget workshop sometime around the next September board meeting, which is around the 19th. And we've done that in the past.
And then our board meeting will be the following week. So it'll be a week, board meeting.
I think
will
we
be
have
a week late.
Right. So in the past, we've had a budget workshop before the regular meeting. And so hopefully, I'm sure we can kind of coordinate, make sure that happens.
Yeah, we'll get all the notices out there.
Hey, Jim, just one question on with the lost income that we've taken from having to forfeit some of these fees, are we still meeting our covenant?
Yes.
We're okay?
Yes, we're good.
Okay, in the miscellaneous section of your packet is a rate consultant proposal. Are you doing this, Jim?
Oh, yes, I am. Yes. Yes. So I believe in your packet is a one-page letter from Amawal Consulting, just a background. Ed Marcus is the principal of Amawalk, and if you remember that name, goes back to when we first regionalized. Ed was a rate consultant with Black and Veatch, which was out of Chicago. He broke off and has been by himself for the last 15 years or so. And so he, on an annual basis, which is required that he review our budget and our rates and fees for the next year. So he goes through a series of questions. I provide him, and our staff provides him with a bunch of spreadsheets and of activity and financial statements. And he has very good knowledge of our operation. If we were to go out to bid and do this, for someone to come up to speed, it would probably be in the range of $25,000 to $30,000, probably 3 times the fee that he is proposing here. And so we felt as though this was a good avenue. He's given us a 3-year proposal, and he's done a great job in the past. He really scrubs through the numbers, and I'm going in 6 different directions and making sure that things are meeting what is required. So I feel very confident that he'll continue doing this, and his staff will continue working with us. And, it's worked over the years. So,
Do you need a motion to?
we do.
I'll make the motion.
Second, you get your pick on that. Any further questions or comments to Jim on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Thank you. Pat sent you all a report, so if you have any questions on his report, you can give him a call. And Pat, we're sorry you're not here, but that's going to save us a good 15 to 20 minutes. So maybe we'll just continue this in the future. Any old business? Any new business?
Yes. I mentioned some time ago that we've been in existence for more than 20 years, and we don't have a home of our own. We don't have a facility to call the regional water facility. And we did at one time look into it, and then it kind of fell by the wayside.
Well, that little minor lawsuit, Vince, kind of overshadowed everything for 10 years.
But in any event, my opinion is it's time that we should re-examine it, see what we might do to establish a facility where all the units can be placed together to make it more functional. But it's up to the board to decide whether they want to look that way or not. And if they do, I was going to recommend you appoint a small committee of 3 people to look into the approach.
Well, we have plenty of land to do it on.
I think
Pardon
the
me?
finance
We
committee
have plenty of
could
land
take
to
a look
do
at
it
that,
on.
Vince.
Pardon me?
I think the finance committee could take a look at that.
Okay, it's more than finance. It's the approach also.
Yeah, I know, but we also have obligations to the city of Utica on this space.
I understand, and that's one of the things that has to be considered. But I say there are multiple things.
We're going to start with the finance committee, and then if we need another committee after they take a look at things, we'll go that route.
I just want to make sure that they look at all the aspects of
Aren't
how
you
to
on the
move.
finance committee?
I don't think I'm on a finance committee.
Well, I'm going to put you on it.
All right.
You're not.
Next time, be quiet.
No, I don't mind. I don't mind.
We will take a look at that, Vince. Yeah, I thought you are on the finance committee. I think so.
How come I never go?
I don't know. I might be on it too. Let you know about the meetings.
Well, does the board think it's a reasonable thing to do? I mean, that's my question, I guess.
I think we could take a look at it. I think it's hard to think it's reasonable or not until we see the.
Do
Possible
we have a lease
pitfalls.
payment on this?
Yeah, it's a long period of time. It's a lot of money.
5 more years.
But it was all part of the lease.
5 more years.
I didn't hear it.
We have 5 more years.
Out of the, what is it, 30 year?
30-year lease. Yeah.
And we've been here 25, and we have 5 more years left?
What do
So we
pay
should be
annually?
looking at it anyways.
You know, just have
'Cause
to
we're getting the hell
occupy
out of here, I can tell you that
space. The space can be big or small.
And how much is our lease payment?
It's 8,000 something a month. 78, 87, something like that. Hasn't changed.
Well, that'll give us an idea of what we can
Do.
afford to spend on our own property.
Anything else, Vince?
No, thank you.
Anything else, anybody? We're adjourned. Thank you. Thanks for coming.